All right, before I go into this discourse, I want to ask the question. I need you to ask yourself the question. You know what I mean? In the name of the Libra Mars transit and also Jupiter and Cancer expanding, relationships is a high theme right now. It's a big deal right now, okay? We're supposed to be practicing reconciliation and balancing the scales of justice, harmonizing, you know what I'm saying? Putting oil on the rusty parts, you know what I'm saying? Viscosity, viscosity allows for a smooth works. Understand that, all right? Anywhere there is joints, there needs to be oil. That is Libra. Understand. Libra is the lubrication. You know what I mean? No Diddy. You heard? It's the lubrication. No Diddy. You heard? Word up. It's that baby oil effect. You know what I'm saying? That's Libra. Understand that. Viscosity. How can I harmonize? Let's get with that attitude. So, let's consider, as you listen through this discourse, I'm talk a little bit about, how are we judging value in each other? You know what I mean? Provision. We might be overlooking what provision really is. But let me ask you this. When it comes to other people, are we identifying where the blessing is at in that person's presence? Where's the blessing in the presence of people? And what you get to see them do time and time again, their character, their attitude, their energy, their demeanor. Why are we not taking enough time to admire other people, to praise other people, to uplift what we see in other people as characteristics, traits, spirits, attitudes that we can take into ourselves to increase our value? Understand. But not appreciating other people enough. Provision could be right there with who's in your life, and you got to count it. You can't overlook it just because it doesn't say legal tender note. Understand the fiat. You heard? Let's go. Now, Newmoon, Virgo, this is where it should be clear to you what you ought to do to create value in your life. Create value. Understand. The sixth house is the process, the time in your day. To create value in your life time and time again. Value to your health, finances, relationships, community, your future. Across the board, you create the value at the sixth house through processes of refinement, efficiency, repetition, and how you're going about doing it. It's the algorithm of the particular sign that you have there at the sixth house. The sixth house is a place that you really need to understand. It's also a place where you need to understand your proper diet. Your proper diet, how you must eat. How you must eat. How your daily schedules need to be. We got to look at this. What's your destiny? What are you here to create? What are you here to do? Who are you here to be? And the sixth house is how you going to get that shit done. Let me tell you all something, man. I don't want to hear nobody talking about they don't have mastery. You know what I mean? This new moon is happening on the 22nd, okay? So it is indeed about the expression of mastery. And the new moon indicates new opportunity through new fated seasons of cycles, okay? That gives you the chance to see a demonstration out of you of that mastery being solidified in itself. And where did it come from? Let me remind you. It started with Black Moon Lilith Virgo, 9 months. And that mastery was complete through the Virgo Mars transit, 2 months. All right? That's where the mastery came from. So you can't tell me that you don't have mastery at Virgo in the 6th house. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Have you been paying attention enough to recall, to be able to put on notice for yourself what that mastery is? Because in that mastery is value, refinement, and ultimately wealth. Wealth in so many ways, but can you see it? All right, let me speak to the soul of this, you know what I mean? About Virgo, new moon, 0 degrees on the 22nd. First of all, 22, this is a vibration that is consistent with Virgo. It is consistent with Virgo in that it includes mastery of efficiency, mastery of refinement, mastery of the exemplification of health and fitness, mastery of process, efficient process. We know that the South Node is at Virgo. We know that. And because we know that, it's a context of our evolution right now. Anytime we're talking about Virgo and the 6th house, we have to consider that this is where we gain access to standard in our value. It's where we gain access to the ability to become competitive in life. It is where who we are and what we have can reach its maximum potential in the eye of scrutiny, criticism, pessimistic view, and looking over. All of this, of course, in a healthy sense. Now, the 0 degree, it indicates that a new beginning has manifest. We are at a new beginning. A new beginning in what you are committing your time to, devoting your time to. A new beginning in what you are spending your time on. And where you're putting your energy. On what your focus and your priorities are. A new beginning. A new beginning in the intentions that you have around what character you realize you've got to build. There's a character that you know you have not reached yet, but you know that it's accessible to you. It's within your reach. And all it requires is for you to buckle down, get sober, evaluate the objectives, the needs, the demands, the details, and commit to execution. By now, because of the retrograde we're just coming out of, open retrogrades that are in course, there's plenty for us to see that's been in the way. Decluttering, where we can create more efficiency if we clear more space. We're now in forward motion toward fulfillment. So says North Node, second decan, Pisces. We also are en route to creating or co-creating a Three of Cups status in our community or family. And the Libra Mars transit is assisting us in making the proper negotiations, diplomacy, arguments even, to balance the scales of justice, fairness, equality, nipping shit in the bud, understand, trade in harmony. Just I see equality, understand. No justice, no peace. So with all of this happening at the same time in the new moon and Virgo, we're at the beginning where it is very clear to us what must be done in the new timeline, in the new self. Something has come through those portals of the water trine in your life. I don't have to be there to know it. It's what I know because I understand what the heavens are expressing. And whatever it is that you're receiving into your life, you see that it requires a higher standard or grade of character in you. And you have to open yourself up and position yourself for the load of responsibilities and duties that must be fulfilled if you are to pull this off. This brings your sixth house into mind. How are you showing up for your sixth house? Are you aware in yourself of where that particular energy is at in your everyday? Why it is that particular sign, planet, or aspect at your sixth house to your sixth house? Why is it that particular energy essential or unique to your success every day? Have you made sense of it yet? Have you slowed down to think about it? This is where our sixth house now serves the self, the authentic self, and not the corporate ideal or agenda. There's a new mission, a new commitment, a new focus, and returning it to ourselves. We are reconstructing who we are so that the gifts and the powers and the wisdom, the experience that we have, it can become a service that benefits others and self. The sixth house is what constructs the character. It forms the character. It is what you do time and time again, and it is how you go about doing it. At 0 degree, it lets us know you're at the beginning of forming a new character. They are big shoes. It's a big winter coat, but you'll grow into it, as your mother or grandmother used to say. You'll grow into it. This new moon is nothing to overlook. Where there is a new moon, fate moves into your life in such a way where it opens new activity. It directs new activity to that particular place in your life, and it brings in growth, expansion, evolution. So this is going to be through your works, what you do every day, and how you go about doing it. What is the character that you're trying to form? What is the character that you need to have to show up for the blessing, the opportunity that has manifested into your life as of recent? What do you see has to change about your character, your positioning, your identity? What do you see? If you can't see, refer to your 10th house. That's the character that you must have. That is how you must be known. It is what you must be known for. It is how you have to be remembered every time you meet and leave. It's the capacity of responsibility and duty that you have. It is what you are known to accomplish, is what you are known to be trusted with and fulfill. What sign, planet, or aspect do you have at your 10th house? You can feel just fine to share that down in the comment section if you want to, or ask questions about that particular aspect in the comment section. I would be glad to help you with it. But this is what we need to know. What that's going to do is it's going to fall into your 2nd house. Value, self-esteem, finances, your ethos, that which informs your conduct, your sense of self, how you feel about yourself, what you think of yourself, the standing or footing that you have that makes you stable. It is also what you have within you internally that gives you a sense of value. It falls from the 10th house. Understand? So, in the shadow, the same placement that we have Virgo. Collectively, we've been learning something. What we could have been learning is that there's a common attitude that's been going around in the modern time where we will assess each other, evaluate each other in an eye of scrutiny, perfection, criticism that is quite narcissistic. There are standards and expectations. For example, you don't have value or you're not important if you're not making 6 figures. If you're not rich, if you're not wealthy, you don't count. If you don't have a lot of followers, if you're not popular somewhere in social media, if you don't have a blue check, quote unquote, these are the standards of vanity manifest from South Node Libra that has entered the toxic culture of modern times through South Node Libra. These are Venus impulses that makes shadow in Virgo because Venus doesn't want to be in Virgo. So you end up getting the shadow of it. And the shadow of Virgo, it criticizes and scrutinizes everything about their self and everything about others that is not up to par of a standard of perfection. And you end up in a crisis of lacking self-acceptance. And as reflected, there's no one in your life who you can accept. You reject everyone in your life. Nobody's good enough, and you have plenty of reasons to justify why. Nobody is up to your standards. No one is up to par. You are better than everyone. Delete, block, burn a bridge. I'm not talking to this one. I'm not talking to that one. You ain't on my level. You broke, you dusty, so on and so forth. This becomes the energy. It is a projection of the rejection of the self. When these characters move about the earth, describing themselves as being so great, well accomplished, wealthy, having it all, but yet you find they can't keep anybody. You find they don't get along with anyone. You find that they have a false sense of joy and happiness. It is a means of clout. Everyone is someone to complain about. It has similarities to Virgo at the 12th house, the South Node expression that we collectively are learning is that where you have Virgo in your natal birth chart, this is a place where you struggle to find a sense of satisfaction and acceptance. This is the place in your chart where you are constantly looking at it in negative scrutiny, saying it's not good enough. No, not yet. No, not yet. I know I should, but I can't yet because. No, it's not there yet. No, not yet. So you never do anything. You're always waiting and stalling and justifying excuses on why you cannot manifest from that particular energy because you're busy scrutinizing its imperfections. It's where you have a dissatisfaction about the self to where you see the self as inadequate, but you will never, ever disclose it. You will never let it be known. Instead, your hands will tell on you. Your feet will tell on you. Your mouth will tell on you, even unwittingly. Everything in your being will tell on you and expose the fact that you are in full rejection of yourself. Unhappy with yourself. You don't like yourself. Everything about you is wrong. At least in this area of your life, the subject matter of the particular house where you natally have Virgo, you have everything bad to say, everything negative to say about this placement. Black Moon Lilith intensified that much early on in 2024, I believe it was. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Black Moon Lilith transit through Virgo. Also, that was a 9-month transit. And with Mars transit through Virgo having been accomplished, in hindsight, we could see how proactive we could be about the things that we want to complain about. Things that are not so perfect in our life, we see that being proactive about these things, it helps us to lighten the burden of that sense of dissatisfaction. On the other hand, it causes us to realize where we are holding on to many unrealistic or unattainable standards and requests of ourselves. The North Node Pisces is bringing in fulfillment into your life. I'm not talking about later. I'm talking about right now as I speak to you. It's bringing fulfillment into your life. Pisces is a polarity of Virgo. Because of your dissatisfaction at Virgo, because you think or you feel what you have going on at that Virgo placement is not good enough, it's not ready, it's not up to par. I can't take pride in this. You're not able to comprehend that a blessing is trying to come in through Pisces. You can't see it. You're blinded by your own scrutiny of yourself in a situation. There's no way I could do that. I'm not ready. There's no way I could do that. It's like a man who spontaneously says, honey, let's go on a spontaneous outing somewhere. And she has that 12th house Virgo or South Node Virgo type energy or negative aspect to Virgo. And she scrutinizes herself so much to where she takes 2 hours to decide on what clothes to put on. She takes another 2 hours to figure out what hairstyle. And then another 3 hours to find out what shades she's going to wear. Another 20 minutes on which vehicle they're going to take to get there. This Virgo energy, it destroys opportunity. It destroys the blessing of the present hour. The conceit, being self-absorbed, looking at yourself, wanting people to think something of you so damn bad, wanting validation and clout. You are terrified that you might not fit the social standards and norms. You don't have European fashion. You don't have a $100,000 vehicle. You're not in a status or circumstance, or you don't have certain possessions, accolades, social media followings, and all these other things that people of society have decided makes you valuable or relevant. You're letting what you hear in social media in the world tell you if you have value in your life or not, if you are successful or not. You're letting some clowns with charisma, pretty faces, and expensive clothes, nice shades, good video quality, clout, a whole bunch of motion in the comment section, likes, followers. You're letting these people tell you if you're successful or not. They're telling you whether or not you should be happy with what you have going on in your life. They're telling you whether or not you're valuable. They're telling you whether or not you're relevant. They're telling you if you're qualified. And that Virgo causes you to stall based on that belief. You will never do anything and you'll never go anywhere if you listen to that. Never. This is where this new moon is where we get to experience life without that noise. Without the noise of the standards of vanity. Without the noise of clout. How many relationships didn't happen, didn't engage, didn't initiate because it didn't match what was on a music video, what a celebrity did or said or looked like. It didn't match the clout. So you passed it up, you turned your nose up at it, and you said it's not good enough. I can't be seen like that. How many opportunities have you blown where you were with someone that was a blessing to you, or even a soulmate, and you turn your nose up at her, you became blind to the blessing that you had? Because in comparison to the world of clout through the internet, you found reason to be dissatisfied, seeing the grass as much greener on the other side, only until you get there and see it's an illusion. Your husband is there already. Your wife is there already. Your business opportunity is there already. Your success is there already. Your victory is there already. Everything that you said you've been waiting on is there already. It's already there. But it's your mind that prevents you from comprehending it. You can't see it. You don't recognize it. It doesn't have to come in the form, or it shouldn't come in the form that is socially acceptable according to the standards of clout. What pretty girls and charismatic guys have told you is acceptable or not. You have to learn to tune it out and stop listening to that garbage. Our blessings, our opportunity, our forward motion, it will not manifest consistent with that world that is now over South Node Libra. It's going to look like the real world. It's going to look like real life. The real world and real life, it is earthly. It is earthly. Therefore, it comes with humility. It comes with a humble heart. It comes with humble beginnings, humble circumstances that should never, ever be discredited as failure or lack. I beg to differ that many people do not know what abundance looks like, and many people do not know what wealth looks like. How many are fools who thinks that it looks like corporate labels? Labels that have to be purchased. Name tags, logos, labels. Status and clout. No, that is not success. That is not victory. Who looks victorious? The father who gives their children confidence, the mother who gives their children a sense of love and compassion and moral conviction in themselves. That is success. What is victory and success? The 30 or 40-year-old black man, so-called, who doesn't have a criminal record, never been to prison, didn't catch felonies. He made it through life without becoming a statistic. What is victory and success? A woman who didn't fall for the feminism, the clout of this world, that tricked her out of her innocence, tricked her out of respect and dignity for herself. What is victory and success? Making enough, earning enough to be responsible. Making enough, earning enough to not beg. Making enough, earning enough to still have your dignity every day. Making enough, earning enough to find your way out of debt. Making enough, earning enough to be self-sufficient. That is victory and success, and it manifests on so many different levels. From the man who makes $30,000 to the man who makes several $100,000 to the millionaire. It manifests in so many different ways. That shadow of Virgo, it has everybody to sit as judges with European fashion on, your big Versace shades and your expensive this and expensive that, and you're sitting there like a panel of uptight, snobbish, arrogant, checked out of reality, hard in heart, dark heart, shadow 8, Ahriman, lots of money but no wealth of spirit, bankrupt in your soul, and you're looking on at the world totally confused on where true value is really at. We are coming to accept what the real looks like. What does the real look like? What is within your capacity? What is within your reach? What is attainable? What is real to you? Not somebody else's reality. What is yours? And where can you identify the victory in that? The success in that? Where can you identify it? We've got to learn to tune out the pretty faces and the charismatic personalities that has rocked the nation to sleep. With European fashion on and expensive vehicles and the spirit of consumerism. How many people in that Virgo energy is just waiting and waiting and waiting until everything is so perfect to make a move, to claim their identity in life? Your arrogance could consume you. Your narcissism could blind you. Being so stuck up, it can really block your blessings in life. You know, when I was younger, I had a teacher from Egypt, Sheikh Syed Muhammad Adli, and I was a custodian of the masjid or mosque for quite some time. And as a custodian, of course, I would sleep in the mosque and I would teach upstairs, in the daytime, refugees. And there were many classes always, to take in different spiritual sense or religious sense, as well as teaching Arabic, to some of the military guys, and going to prisons and institutions and teaching, Islamic studies. It was a very active atmosphere. And among the things that the Sheikh had taught me or explained to me, opened my mind up to, I went to his house one day, and he has 3 wives, 27 children. And he told them to gather some dishes so that we all could eat together. And we all sat on the floor, as by the way, it's customary, to sit on the floor. And we were sitting on the floor in a circle around all of the dishes and food and things of that nature. And he asked me a question. He said, how many cups, spoons, or bowls, how many dishes should a house have? I said, how many dishes should a house have? And I'm thinking, what's his aim? And he asked me in particular about a bowl. I said, well, maybe you would need a whole, bowl set, or a couple of bowl sets or something like that. And he smiled, rubbing his beard, looking up at me, dipping his hand, with the flatbread and goat and all kind of other things there. He rubs his beard. And he said, if you are one person, you need one bowl. If you are one person, you need one cup. If you are one person, you may not even need one spoon. He said need and want are different words, and they have different meanings. And we should be mindful of which we are expressing. He said in so many words. He said it in Arabic, some of it in broken English. But that was the gist of what he was explaining. My point really is we have a hard time seeing the abundance that's already in our life because we don't know what abundance is. And we have a hard time identifying that we could be wealthy. But we have decided to buy into a standard of value that excludes. It excludes what is relevant to the soul. We're only concerned about what has a receipt, a UPC. If it doesn't have a receipt or a UPC, it doesn't have value. Especially when we judge what persons in our life has value. Oh my God. We have become so lost. How much money does so-and-so make every year? College degrees, your career status. These are the standards of the Ahriman. These are the standards of the 8 shadows. These are the standards of the Capricorn theory. These are the lost people, the dead corpse, who think like this. Money is the standard. Could you have wealth in your life that you refuse to acknowledge, embrace, and celebrate? I won't interrupt you. I want you to think about it. Think about it. Could you have abundance in your life that you don't recognize because the status quo has not included it in what gets calibrated, counted, weighed? We have to learn how to think as free thinkers again. We've got to learn how to think as free thinkers. What is real value, success, victory, and life? Enough is a feast. Enough is a feast. Our happiness relies on this psychology, our contentment and our peace. No matter how much consuming you do, it's not going to give you happiness. It's not going to give you peace. It's also not going to give you satisfaction. Making purchases can never do that for a person, ever. You're making purchases. justifying purchases, hiding behind consumption, things that you consume, buy, purchase. You're hiding behind stuff, things, titles. Who are you? What are you? Where's your value? What makes you important? What makes you wealthy? How is abundance judged in your life? What abundance do you have? We better figure it out. I'm telling you now, we have got to think differently than what they attempted to program us to think. You have to take control of your own mind. You've got to take it back. Your mind. Is Virgo not ruled by the Lord Mercury, as well as Gemini? And our new moon in Virgo follows behind. The Mercury retrograde is a heart not expressed at Leo in full capacity, where Mercury is now in direct motion. And if we are to have an authentic expression in our life, should it not be consistent with what is real and not what is an illusion of value? Is Mars not transiting through the algorithm of value? Libra. Value among people, between people, with people, of people. Standards of value. How we judge and estimate the value of people in our life and what they contribute. How many definitions are there for the word provision? How many ways can wealth be explained? How many ways can the second house be justified as a house of value? It is, as a person who practices astrology, when I hear many explain the second house as the house of finances, it really saddens me how the people get cheated, shortchanged of really understanding astrology. People do so much injustice to astrology when you explain things. In such limited, conclusive expressions. The second house is not the house of finances. It is the house of value with things, experiences, the material realm. And it's also how we gauge value through our five senses. Value includes finances, provision, our economics, our resources, not sources, our resources, not sources. And we don't take enough time to really understand what we're saying when we say provision. Just as an example, there's that loved one who has a contagious laughter where the worst things happen. For example, I have a brother who His strength is expressed in a very unique way. We never see him stay down, no matter what. He's been in the streets all his life. He's hard to the core. Both of my brothers are, including myself. He's hard to the core. He's been in the streets, gangs, and, all this other stuff in New York. And we never see him in a negative energy. As street and hood as he is, as gangster as he is, he radiates positivity at all times. Nothing keeps him down. And he walks with that attitude. When he walks, he got the Brooklyn bop. You know what I'm saying? It's the Brooklyn bop. Where in Brooklyn, if you're from there, you raised there, you could tell somebody raised from Brooklyn by the way they walk. You walk like one leg is shorter than the other. You dip and you hop on one leg. You dip and you hop. That's, you know what I'm saying? You got that, you know what I'm saying, that dip and bop walk. And that's how he walked. And his attitude exuberates through even his walk. When you see him walk, he walks like his energy is radiating out of him. He's dark-skinned and his shiny white teeth just lights up his whole face. You know what I mean? With that Libra type energy. And he's a reference point. If ever I should feel down, I think about my brother's attitude and how whenever something happens to him, whenever he goes through things, he'll vent, he'll curse, he'll talk about it. You know what I'm saying? He'll let it out. But one thing he's not going to do is let himself be down about it. If a door is closed, he's off to the next before his tears can even dry. And I'm here to say it's things like that is a provision. His presence in my life is a provision. All my life, nigga. All my life. You know what I mean? My brother through that has provided for me all my life. That's a provision. Fuck is you talking about? That's a provision. And what he provides is a demonstration of strength and resilience. That's a provision. It's a provision because it downloads to my second house of value, things that I value or things that I should value, things that adds to my value, things that boost my self-esteem, things that reinforces my ethos. But please excuse my French. Feminist females today who get in front of cameras and dumb the world down about value and provision. God help them. The ignorance, the lack of true intelligence, wisdom, and insight is very dangerous. It is dangerous because these are the people who are raising the kids by the fucking self, and there's nobody to intervene and stop them in the fucking ignorance. And the kids become fucking dumb just like that. Dumb as a box of fucking rocks. They think provision means money. Here in America, we got a crisis. We are failing to transfer wisdom from generation to generation. Instead of us getting wiser, we getting fucking dumber. And that's a problem. And that's why every one of us, not just me, we all should have zeal burning through our heart about addressing this and making it contagious for others to want to change it. Provision is a vast concept. Let me tell you that. It is a vast concept. We get more provision when we admire other people. When we watch what they do and how they do it, and we admire them for it. We praise them for it. Let me tell you, I'm the last of 6 siblings. And while I admire every one of my siblings, my 2 brothers, they amaze me every day. They're not rich, but I see them as extremely wealthy. The experiences that they have, the wisdom that they have, the strength that they have, the resilience that they have. It forces me to examine myself every day to make sure I am up to par in the image and likeness of my brothers. I cannot fail them by being less than what they are, but aspiring to be their equal. My big brothers understand that. When we admire and respect other people, we extract provision from them because their presence blesses us. How much money does it cost? Or how much should it cost to be able to witness your brother fall down and get back up in a way that inspires you to hope that something make you fall so you could get up just like that? How much money does that cost? See, we're forgetting where real value is at in life. We're forgetting. The presence of each other is where you could get real wealth in your life. Is where you could extract true value and provision into your life. And that provision is transferable. Just like fiat, just like a legal tender, just like a debt bill, just like currency, it's transferable. I want you to see where the value is in your life, and the value in the presence of other people, the influence that people bring. A Saturn synastry in a person's chart, for example. Let's say you're in a domestic situation with the person, and they have Saturn in a particular place that overlaps into one of your houses. Matter of fact, let me just say second house, okay? Let's say their Saturn by synastry falls into your second house. What does this mean? They are transferring value or provision to your second house. And the value and provision is discipline, accountability, obedience, possibly mastery, self-control, scrutiny, discipline, good character, strength, resilience. Yeah, that's what they're transferring to your second house. That's the value of their presence. So you might look at the person, let's say the person who brings Saturn into your second house, let's say this person, you was expecting value to be, oh, how much money does this person have? Okay, but they bring Saturn into a particular house where you lack Saturn. How much can that change your life if you allow it to transfer into your life? Because in that particular part of your life, let's say you was a spendthrift. Let's say you didn't respect, the value of the provision that you earn, the finances that you earn. Let's say you're terrible with managing money. Let's say you're an impulsive spender or consumer, or you go shopping when you're emotional. But the Saturn of that person is going to bring influence to that impulse that you have, and it's going to cause you to see your lack of discipline. It's going to cause you to see your character in that area of your life, and that is priceless. Their presence, therefore, is priceless to you. Their presence, therefore, is transferring the wealth of wisdom and renewed character, because they're making you feel the spirit of accountability in a particular area of your life where you lack that accountability and discipline, and that's going to revolutionize your life if you allow it to change you, instead of seeing the person as, oh, burdensome, controlling, you too serious, and so on and so forth, like an adolescent child would do. We love to describe how somebody bothers us, but we fail to recognize how somebody is blessing us out of the very thing that we say is bothering us. That's what we fail to see. They could bring Pluto into a certain area by synastry into your life. And all of a sudden in that area of your life, you feel naked, you feel exposed, you feel like the truth keeps slipping out. The secrets keep coming out. And instead of receiving the opportunity that's in that as a provision, you look at that person as someone to be accused or someone to be dismissed out of your life. You got to get rid of this person because they're causing problems. Look how we do. Look how we do. A person could bring Uranus in a certain part of your chart, and it helps you to come out of that loop that you're in with Mars, fulfilling the definition of insanity. But you resist it. You got a problem with it. They're getting on your nerve. They're trying to tell you what to do, yada, yada, yada. Nobody ever listens to me. Sometimes we got to slow down and listen to ourselves and hear the spoiled fucking brat child that we are and grow the fuck up. Grow up. It's enough pushing blessings out of your life, messing up on opportunities with people who are very important to your life because of your immaturity. We've got to start seeing the provision and blessings that people are and not miss out on the value. Someone's presence can be worth far more than any check that you're trying to estimate in one glance of what they got or don't got. You the one that's you making a fool of yourself. You think you getting over, you think you being wise, you think that you know, there's a price to pay for listening to the clout, for following the trends, for staying on code with the world. It's a price to pay, because guess what? You end up blowing all the blessings in your life. This happens with fathers a lot. There's some fathers that want to be present in the child's life, or they are present and active in certain ways, but that baby's mother will make it hard for them, run the loops and circles, and whatever they do, they minimize it, talk down about it, or whatever else. This ain't good enough, yada, yada, yada. But here's where the picture could be upside down. Just the presence of a man in a child's life could be enough to save that child from prison, the grave, or early childhood pregnancies. Just his presence alone. Just the presence of a good charactered man is enough saving grace. It is a wealth of value just for him to be there, interacting in peace and harmony, interacting with justice, interacting with respect with the mother that's there, the wife that's there, the woman that's there. His presence, it's irreplaceable. No dollar, no program, no nothing can replace his physical presence. Just being there, the sound of his voice, his demeanor, how he looks when he comes in from fixing a car all greasy on the forearms, his daily routines and habits. Children watch, they listen, they feel, they observe. And all of that is what? Provision. It is provision. Advice that a man will give. when he observes, when he listens, when he sees. It is provision. The influence, it is provision. The mentorship, it is provision. We are missing out on where the value is at in life, and we have got to tune into it and see how wealthy we truly are, or could be. So, Virgo new moon, open your mind that we have a new character to build in our daily routine. It should look much different than what's behind us. It should be more efficient. It should be responsible. It should be a recipe or routine that forms the right character through repetition. Clear out the space. Lean into what is priority. Emphasize on quality. And overall, do not overlook health. Health. Do not overlook health. New beginning. New beginning. Remember that this Virgo new moon is the beginning of the daily routine, the responsibilities that we reach for, the works that we commit ourselves to, that were not informed by or inspired by clout. Right? So this starts the sixth house and Virgo expressions of the self without being influenced by the clout. Without clout. Because the clout was part of the anxiety behind that Virgo energy of assuming that you have to be of the cultural standard that society has set through pretty people and charismatic people in our world. And we have to bow out of it and rewrite our standards, our commitments, our opinions of ourselves, according to the most sincere evaluation that we could take on our life. Make sure you get close, get personal, you know what I mean? Concerning the natal birth chart, you want to know what this means for you on a personal level. You can't do that through these videos, although they are informal. They do help. They go a long way. The more sincere you are, the farther it will take you. However, for the new moon, Virgo, or any other transits, do not hesitate to schedule for a natal birth chart session or reading. The understanding of the self leading to self-revelation. Understand for the self-revolution. Yeah. And as always, my advice, you know what I mean? Recommendation, word of love. Grab your sister by the hand and find the appropriate man. You heard? Grab your sister by the hand and find the appropriate man. Understand that. Both of y'all, share the man. Understand? Share the man. You know what I mean? I'm not being shy about it. I'm putting it out there because I know you scared to think about it. You know what I'm saying? Share the man.